Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your go-to source for inside stories, cutting-edge research, and the latest updates in the world of dairy farming. The 56, we delve into Argentina's dairy hurdles. Climate and economic changes press on production and exports. Gain insights for dairy experts. So please grab a glass of milk, sit back, and let's get started with this week's episode.
Argentina's dairy industry is at a crossroads, grappling with the tumultuous twin forces of extreme weather conditions and economic upheaval. Amidst sweltering heat waves and a relentless drought, milk production has faced an unforeseen dip, challenging even the most resilient farmers. Domestic consumption has taken a hit as a ripple effect, painting a grim picture for an industry already on shaky grounds. Yet paradoxically, exports are rising, hinting at a complex web of supply and demand on the global stage. What does the future hold for Argentina's dairy farmers, standing at the confluence of nature's wrath and economic unpredictability? As we navigate these uncertain times, one must ask, how will Argentina's dairy sector adapt and evolve in the face of such unprecedented challenges? Will innovation and resilience lead the way, or will further turmoil unravel the fabric of this storied industry?
Argentina's dairy industry has faced fierce hurdles, primarily due to extreme weather conditions that have disrupted milk production. Severe droughts, particularly in recent years, have diminished pasture and feed supplies, directly affecting the quantity and quality of milk produced. Heat waves exacerbate these challenges by inducing stress in cattle, leading to further declines in milk output as cows struggle to cope with the soaring temperatures. The resulting combination of water scarcity and intense heat weakens production, making it increasingly difficult for farmers to sustain robust operations. The Niña weather pattern plays a significant role in this climatic conundrum. Expected to bring below normal rainfall to the Pampas region, the heartland of Argentina's dairy farms, Niña conditions threaten the core of the nation's milk production capabilities. While 2024 saw forecasts of a mild Niña, the intricate balance of rainfall and temperature remains crucial. Any deviation can spell disaster, as adequate precipitation is vital for crop and livestock health. In a region heavily reliant on consistent weather patterns, any shift has lasting repercussions, hampering production and influencing the overarching agricultural strategies. Climate change amplifies these challenges, altering traditional patterns and forcing farmers to adapt. Rising temperatures and changing precipitation rates demand shifts in farming practices, with producers exploring drought-resistant crops or altering feed composition to mitigate the risks. These adjustments, however, often come with increased costs and uncertainty, especially in an economic climate that may not be accommodating such investments. Moreover, the need for more resilient practices introduces a new era of agricultural management, where technology and innovative strategies must converge to effectively tackle the escalating climate threats.
Delving into Argentina's dairy saga unveils a history as rich and complex as its renowned flavors. The nation's venture into dairy wasn't just an economic endeavor, but a cultural hallmark, threading through its agricultural identity. From its agrarian zenith in the 20th century, Argentina emerged as a formidable force in the global dairy sector, fueled by its vast pampas and a strong heritage of livestock farming. The post-World War II era marked a golden age for Argentine agriculture, and the dairy industry was no exception. Farmers embraced innovations, increasing milk yield and product diversity. This period saw Argentina become a pivotal dairy exporter, with its products prized in international markets. However, the path was not without its pitfalls. Economic upheavals, such as the late 1980s and early 2000s hyperinflation, imposed heavy burdens on production costs and farm profitability. Despite these tumultuous cycles, the resilience of Argentine dairy farmers became a defining narrative. The 2000s brought globalization challenges, compelling the industry to adapt rapidly to fluctuating global prices and trade barriers. Yet, Argentina's dairy producers demonstrated an uncanny ability to pivot and thrive, leveraging technological advancements and sustainable practices to maintain competitiveness. Today, as the industry braces against climate adversities and economic shifts, it draws on a legacy of enduring perseverance. Each epoch has sculpted a dairy landscape that is as much about overcoming adversity as it is about innovation and market leadership. Understanding this historical tapestry contextualizes the resilience and strategic pivots currently seen in the sector, offering a lens through which to view both challenges and triumphs.
Shifting economic policies and fluctuating market dynamics influence Argentina's dairy sector. Recent governmental changes have implemented significant economic measures to influence domestic consumption and international trade. Removing domestic price controls and abolishing export duties in mid-2024 are pivotal changes poised to recalibrate the field. The impact on domestic consumption is notably profound. Without price controls, the market reacts based on pure supply and demand dynamics, potentially leading to variations in consumer prices for dairy products. Coupled with the overall economic recovery, this could stimulate a resurgence in local consumption to approximate pre-crisis levels of about 1,150,000 metric tons in 2025, aligning closely with figures from 2023. The lifting of export duties enhances the competitiveness of Argentina's dairy products in international markets. The duties, which previously stood at 9% for milk powder, presented a barrier that stifled export potential. With this restriction removed, analysts foresee a boost in export activities, expecting that whole milk powder, WMP, exports will rise by 15% in 2024, reaching 128,000 MT, and further increasing by 9% in 2025. These changes, however, are not without challenges. As Argentina's dairy exports gain traction, the pressure mounts to meet international demand amid internal production constraints. The nation's milk production, estimated to decline by 7% in 2024 due to adverse weather, poses a hurdle in fulfilling burgeoning export orders without compromising domestic supply expectations. International trade relations, primarily with Mercosur partners like Brazil, constitute a crucial aspect of this framework. Brazil remains a steadfast recipient of Argentine exports, accounting for 63.5% of WMP exports in 2023. The stability and growth of this trade relationship are promising amidst regional climate challenges affecting milk producers throughout the Southern Cone. While recent economic reforms signal potential growth and restabilization, they bring a suite of uncertainties. Dairy producers must adeptly navigate this complex landscape, balancing domestic demand against export opportunities, all under the shadow of unpredictable climatic disruptions and policy shifts. In this volatile scenario, strategic foresight and adaptability remain the quintessential tools for stakeholders striving to seize the potential embedded within these economic tides.
Amidst the turbulence of declining domestic milk production in 2024, Argentina's dairy sector showcased an impressive export performance, with whole milk powder, WMP, and cheese exports witnessing a remarkable rise. Despite a challenging year marked by significant weather-induced production setbacks, these export figures have been on an upward trajectory, underscoring Argentina's strategic market adaptability. Brazil undoubtedly remained the linchpin in Argentina's export strategy. As the primary destination, Brazilian demand played a crucial role, accounting for a substantial portion of WMP exports. This partnership highlights the mutual dependency between the two nations, especially in light of the climatic adversities affecting the Mercosur dairy region, including southern Brazil. This regional alliance facilitated trade and buoyed Argentine exports amidst an otherwise contracting landscape. Moreover, the cheese sector illustrated resilience, with an 8% uptick in exports. Brazil also emerged as a significant player, alongside other strategic markets like Chile and new entrants such as the Middle East, which are increasingly receptive to Argentine dairy prowess. Notably, this highlights Argentina's ability to leverage its rich dairy expertise, even in less traditional markets, paving the way for future growth. Looking ahead, the potential for further expansion in international markets appears promising. Projections anticipate a recovery in milk production by 2025, and Argentina is poised to capitalize on its export strength. The recent dismantling of export duties on dairy products could enhance competitiveness, empowering producers to amplify their presence across burgeoning international markets. As Argentina navigates this dynamic landscape, its focus remains steadfast on solidifying and expanding its export scope, ensuring its dairy products continue penetrating and thriving in global arenas.
The relentless threat of the chicharita, or corn leafhopper, lingers heavily over Argentina's dairy farms, threatening to destabilize the backbone of their feed supply, corn silage. This pest, a vector for the Spiroplasma conchelli bacteria, has wreaked havoc on corn crops, leading to devastating losses in grain and silage yields. With corn silage being a critical component of the dairy diet due to its high energy content, any compromise in its availability severely tests the resilience of the farmers. In response, farmers are exploring innovative solutions to counteract the impact of this pest. One such approach is the potential switch to sorghum silage. Though traditionally considered a secondary silage option, sorghum offers a viable alternative amidst the uncertainty posed by chicharita infestations. With its natural pest-resistant properties and the ability to thrive in challenging conditions, sorghum presents a strategic shift that could mitigate the risk of feed shortages. Yet, the move to sorghum silage presents its own set of challenges. While sufficient, sorghum silage's protein and energy content differ from corn's, necessitating careful balancing in dairy diets to ensure production levels are maintained. Maintaining high-quality feed remains paramount for the health and productivity of dairy herds, making it essential that the nutritional values of alternative feeds are closely monitored and adjusted in real time. As Argentina's dairy industry navigates these feed supply challenges, maintaining quality feed cannot be overstated. Innovative farming practices and adaptive feeding strategies are not just options. They are crucial to sustaining herd health and milk production amid an evolving agricultural landscape. Farmers, therefore, must remain vigilant and agile, ready to implement changes as they work to secure a stable and nutritious diet for their dairy cows.
In Argentina, the dynamics of dairy cow stock and production stratification play a pivotal role in shaping the dairy industry's trajectory. In 2024, we witnessed a stabilization in cow stock, reflecting the favorable conditions anticipated for 2025. The liquidation trend, which saw an uptick in earlier years, appeared to reverse slightly, with a reported 7.2% decrease in dairy cow slaughter from the same period in 2023, marking a shift towards retaining more livestock. The substantial concentration of productive units highlights an ongoing shift toward larger-scale operations. In 2023, farms with over 500 cows comprised 5.6% of all productive units, yet these accounted for 25.2% of the country's dairy cows. This trend indicates a gradual consolidation of production into larger farms, potentially enhancing efficiency and risking smaller producers' marginalization. The distribution shift signals an industry gravitating towards economies of scale, possibly catalyzing more stable milk production levels as more extensive operations can mitigate fluctuations through better resource management. As of December 31, 2023, the dairy cow stock stood at 1,495,243 head, a drop of 4.3% from 2021 figures. This decrease underscores the challenges posed by drought and unfavorable price-cost ratios in previous years, which have driven increased culling rates. In 2023, approximately 231,582 dairy cows were slaughtered, notably higher than in previous years due to economic pressures, further contributing to the stock reduction. Analyzing these dynamics reveals the dual nature of this stratification process: potential gains in productivity and stability at the cost of increased industry concentration. Smaller farms continue to face consolidation pressures, which may lead to a homogenized industry landscape favoring more prominent players. While the outlook appears to favor stabilizing stock levels into 2025 under current projections, the balance between concentration benefits and diversity loss will remain a critical consideration for policymakers and industry stakeholders.
The backdrop against Argentina's embroiled dairy industry reveals changing consumption patterns that demand an astute analysis. Fluid milk consumption has declined, reflecting production woes and shifting consumer choices and economic realities. In the first 7 months of 2024 alone, a staggering 12% fall in fluid milk consumption was recorded compared to the previous year, particularly peaking with a 21.6% decline in February. This vividly shows how deeply production levels and economic health intertwine domestic consumption habits. As production dwindles through harsh climatic and economic conditions, there's a tighter grip on consumer behavior, pushing them towards alternatives that align better with their financial constraints and lifestyle changes. Long-life milk continues to overshadow refrigerated varieties, as evidenced by a consistent shift where the refrigerated milk market share shrank from 38% in 2022 to 37% in 2023. This signals a cautious consumer eyeing the reliability and longevity of their dairy choices amidst economic strains. Economic downturns contribute heavily to this narrative. When wallets constrict, fluid milk often becomes a casualty, its demand retreating, mirroring the broader recessionary patterns. The domino effect continues as we see domestic consumption of fluid milk and dairy products like whole milk powder (WMP) fall from grace, pressured by reduced production and weakened purchasing power. Yet, amidst these challenges, social programs emerge as a bulwark against plummeting demand. Particularly in election years, the government's role in distributing dairy, notably WMP, through social assistance programs, provides a lifeline that sustains consumption at a stable level. These programs, intrinsically linked to public welfare endeavors, ensure that despite economic adversity, a baseline demand for dairy continues to exist, cushioning the industry against complete demand erosion. Understanding these fluid dynamics requires keen foresight as we navigate toward 2025, where the promise of economic recovery might once again make room for a resurgence in domestic dairy consumption through market forces and strategic social interventions.
As we gaze beyond 2025, Argentina's dairy industry is at a crossroads of opportunity and challenge. Building on a projected recovery, the industry faces varying scenarios that hinge on multiple intertwining factors. One potential scenario sees technological advancements and intelligent farming techniques playing pivotal roles. With precision agriculture and data-driven herd management becoming more accessible, Argentine producers could boost productivity and efficiency, offsetting weather-related setbacks and optimizing resource use. This tech-driven prowess might position Argentina as a leader in exports and sustainable dairy practices. On the flip side, the industry remains vulnerable to climate variability. While a mild Niña currently forecasts a reasonable weather pattern, future oscillations towards either extreme could jeopardize gains. Hence, the sector's capacity to integrate adaptive measures and innovate environmentally resilient strains of fodder, such as pest-resistant corn, will be crucial. Moreover, economic dynamics continue to wander through uncharted waters. Will Argentina maintain favorable trade terms with critical partners like Brazil and Algeria, or will geopolitical upheavals prompt a reorientation of its export landscape? Past volatility in feed prices suggests that economic stability at home, perhaps through policy solidity and financial investments, cannot be sidelined. The domestic consumption narrative also speculates an intriguing turn. A recovering economy may encourage a shift towards an increased appetite for dairy, potentially amplifying fluid milk and cheese consumption as local market confidence rebuilds. Meanwhile, the consolidation trend among productive units could further catalyze efficiencies, but may also incite social concerns over agricultural livelihood disparities. Ultimately, the horizon for Argentina's dairy sector in the aftermath of 2025 is painted with both caution and optimism. Industry stakeholders, from policymakers to producers, must be proactive, seeking agility in response to shifting winds. In an era where resilience complements tradition, the Argentine dairy tapestry may emerge sturdier and more diverse, preserving its iconic flavors while embracing new horizons.
As we look toward 2025, Argentina's dairy industry stands at a pivotal crossroads, confronting arduous challenges and promising opportunities. While weather patterns, particularly the specter of La Niña, continue to loom over production prospects, there's hope in herd resilience and the anticipated stabilization of climatic conditions. The persistent threat of the chicharrita to corn production remains a massive hurdle, urging the sector toward adaptive strategies and crop diversification. On the economic front, Argentina's domestic and international market dynamics offer a dual-edged sword. As domestic consumption shows signs of recovery and favorable milk-to-grain price ratios, there's potential for a robust bounce back in both the production and processing sectors. Moreover, lifting export duties and favorable trade conditions could pave new avenues for Argentine dairy exports, bolstering its presence on the global stage. However, 2025 is set to test the industry's agility in navigating these complexities. Will the Argentine dairy sector harness these challenges to drive innovation and sustainability? How can dairy professionals and farmers collaborate to secure a future that balances market demands with environmental stewardship? The answers lie in forward-thinking strategies and a collective commitment to the dairy legacy. As dairy stewards and stakeholders, it's time to rethink the possibilities. How can you contribute to shaping a resilient and dynamic future for Argentina's dairy industry?
Thank you for tuning in to the Bullvine Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's insightful discussion. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Catch you next time on the Bullvine Podcast, where bovine expertise and community come together.